Hi, we're Shane and Natalie. We like to play board games.
Because we're boring.
Thought it was because we were nerds. Well, anyways,
that too.
She's a nerd, but we play together. We don't have people to play with most of the time anyway. So we're always looking for a good game to work for two. Mm-hmm. Today we're going to try Citadels, a classic game, pretty old. Neither of us have ever played it.
I've never even heard of it.
And so we're going to see how it goes. So here's how the game works, okay? Mm-hmm. So this is a role selection game, all right? So in other words, you're going to choose a role, a different role each time.
Okay.
So you played Puerto Rico.
A very long time ago.
Puerto Rico is a role selection game. This is not Puerto Rico, but it's the same kind of style.
Okay.
Here's how it works, right? So basically, there are 8 characters, okay? Mm-hmm. And the characters each have their own powers. Mm-hmm. And what we're going to do is we're going to pass these cards, these character cards around, and we're going to choose certain characters without the other person knowing. And then depending on the character, we get to do something different on our turn.
Okay. So
the object of the game is to build your city. Your city will be complete when you have, for 2 players, when you have built 8 districts.
Okay.
So the districts are just like, this is the map room, that is a district. The tavern is a district. The docks are a district. So for regular game, it's when you've done 7. For us, it's when the first person has built 8 districts.
Okay.
Make sense? Mm-hmm. And so here's how it's going to work. On your turn, we're going to select our roles. We'll talk about how that works in a minute. But once that's done, normally each person chooses 1 role. For a 2-player game, each person chooses 2 roles.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
After that, you gather resources. First step. So you must gather resources. That means you either take 2 money, mm-hmm. or you take 2 district cards, make a choice between them, and then discard 1. And now this is in your hand.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You may then purchase the district if you have enough money. So the district, this one costs obviously 2. The map room costs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So if you had 5 money, you could. Mm-hmm. Make sense? So again, the basic structure of each turn is choose your role, gather resources, either 2 money or basically 1 card. And then, if you can afford it and wish to, you buy a district.
And that's your turn.
Well, the other part of your turn is then you do your special power.
Okay.
If you want. You don't have to.
But you can choose to do it.
You can. Or if the thing tells you that there's a certain time that it has to be done, you might have done it at a different time. So, let's go over the roles. Mm-hmm. So the assassin. Call a character you wish to kill. The killed character skips their turn.
Okay, so that's basically keeping...
The other thing to know about this is the turn order is not like going around. It's based on the number. So the assassin is always the first to play.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The thief is always the second to play. Call a character you wish to rob. When the robbed character is revealed, so mm-hmm. I believe what that means is when it would be their turn. So they don't have to right away say it's me, mm-hmm. but when it would be their turn. You take all of their gold.
Okay.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
The magician. You either exchange hands of cards with any other player, or you discard any number of cards to gain an equal number of cards. So the magician lets you get different cards. The king is a very important one. Mm-hmm. Take the crown. It's one of these pieces that, I don't know, I never use these things in games, these like first player marker things, but, and gain 1 gold for each of your noble districts. Now, the reason that the crown matters is because whoever has the crown is the person who's going to call out which turn it is. So the person with the crown will be like, it's the assassin's turn.
Okay.
And now it's the next person's turn and so on. And also, that's the first one that's going to choose each time. So if you want to make sure you get like that assassin,
you want to be the king.
You have to be the king. The bishop. I'm sorry.
It is the bishop.
It is the bishop. I got confused because it's the warlord. The warlord cannot destroy your district. So the warlord, their power is to destroy districts. Gain 1 gold for each religious district. So this person is immune to being destroyed. The merchant. Gain 1 extra gold and gain 1 gold for each of your trade districts. Make sense? The architect. Gain 2 extra cards. You can build up to 3 districts. So normally you would only build 1 district per turn.
So this lets you build extra.
And the warlord. Destroy 1 district by paying 1 fewer gold than its cost. So if you wanted to destroy the map room, you would have to pay 4 money. Gain 1 gold for each of your military districts.
Okay.
So that's the game. Okay, so how do you draft? Yes. Normally what you do is, in a regular game, what would happen is the person would place down the starting player, the crown player, would look at the cards and place 1 roll face up, although it's not allowed to be the king.
So if you've just been the king, you can't be the king.
Well, no. But I'm saying in a regular game for not 2 players, you do this and you put 1 down, but you cannot put down the king.
Okay.
And then you choose 1, and then you pass it, and that next person chooses, etc. In the 2-player game, here's how it's going to work. Starting player is going to secretly discard 1, could be anything, is going to take 1. Going to hand it to you. You're going to secretly put 1 down, and you're going to take 1. And so on. So we'll do that twice, so that at the end, we each have 2 guys. Make sense? And then we just go through.
Okay.
First person to have 8 districts wins the game.
Oh, wins the game.
Well, no, I'm sorry. Ends the game. Scoring. Scoring is the last thing. So, once a city has 8 districts, or 7 in the regular game, okay, you score points. You score 1 point per coin on your districts. The tavern's worth 1. The map room is worth 5. Whatever. 3 points if you have at least 1 district of each type. So there's different types of districts. We can look at the kind of list afterwards. But if you have 1 of each type, instead of repeating, basically you will get 3 extra points. If you were the first player who completed the city, you get 4 points.
Okay.
If you were not the first player but you did complete the city, then you get 2. Then you get 2. So in other words, let's say that I build an 8th district in my city, but you still have a part of the turn left, and then you manage to build an 8th one.
I would still get 2 points.
Get 2 points. And then you would get any extra points from your unique districts.
Okay.
And so the unique districts are ones which have special flavor text. So, for instance, the map room. At the end of the game, score 1 extra point for each card in your hand. Or the laboratory. Once per turn, discard 1 card from your hand to gain 2 gold. So that is like an ongoing power. The School of Magic. For abilities that gain resources for your district, the School of Magic counts as the district type of your choice. So if you are the king and you have this, it can be a noble district, etc. All right. So we don't need to read through every single one right now, but that's the idea. Okay. Any questions?
Don't think so.
All right. So let's see how it goes, and then we'll let you know how it goes.
Yep.
All right. So we've completed our playthrough of Citadels, and I thought it was a blast. This is the most I've laughed and had fun in a game in a long time.
Let's see. You killed 3 of my districts. You stole my hand of cards. I'm pretty sure you robbed me at some point.
I think
you killed me multiple times with the assassin.
I think that stealing your hand of cards was actually the one that was the most fun.
I think that's actually what won you the game. Part of what won you the game. Because after that, I was struggling to get cards back in my hand.
In all seriousness, we don't really I think I picked up on how it works a little bit faster than you.
You think?
But I think this is so okay. Let's kind of go through it. Overall impressions, I thought it was great. What do you think?
I did enjoy it. I was mildly annoyed because you did in fact pick up on it faster than I did, and by the time I figured out how to keep you from killing me, you didn't. It was too late, and you'd already basically kept me from winning.
The thing that you didn't pick up, I think the number one thing you needed to realize sooner was that you should have taken that king at some point in the first couple of turns.
I didn't start using the king soon enough, and then after, I think I had the king twice, and after I had the king the second time, I think you kept throwing the king away, or you were using him because I couldn't get him again after that. He never came back to me.
That's true. There's going to be something. There's got to be something that maybe we're missing, because that's true. If the person that has the king just keeps getting rid of the king every time, or choosing the king again, they can just monopolize the first turn the entire game. Now, in fairness, I guess the balance to that is that the strength of having the first choice is that you get whatever you want.
Yeah.
And if you're always taking the king first, but if you're throwing it away, with
the 2-player being able to throw the king away, is a little too strong.
I double check this every time. I'm going to go and check online, and I'll post something on the video if I'm wrong.
For example, the Warlord. The Warlord was one, he destroyed several of my districts, which really hurt me in the end game. Because I would play a district, and he immediately killed it.
But then there was other times, where I threw the Warlord away, but then you thought maybe I took it, and so you're so worried about that.
I kept taking the bishop because it didn't. I would get money, I would spend money, and the next thing he would do would be kill the district.
So I was taking the assassin, throwing away the Warlord, but then I knew that you're taking the bishop because you're worried about the Warlord. So I was able to kill. So I forced you to take the bishop and then killed him. So in other words, this is like StarCraft as a card game. And
I don't know how to play StarCraft.
I mean, but I'm kidding, but I'm also serious in that there's a lot of depth here.
Yeah.
In terms of, now I'm sure this game is old enough and popular enough that I am sure that whatever difficulty you're having or in that game, I'm sure there's a way to deal with it. And we just haven't, necessarily figured it out yet.
Considering the fact that we've only played once, but it's kind of late.
But I thought it was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought especially for people like us where that kind of competitive, I thought it was really, so I thought it was fantastic.
It added some of the elements of Mafia that you can get with the Mafia killing people off and trying to guess who's what and stuff like that. It does add some of that in there because you do have the character drafting and stuff like that, which is it fun. I was just mildly annoyed because you figured it out much faster than I did. By the time you figured it out, I couldn't do anything about it.
I mean, so it's I can see that there's a lot of depth to this. All right, we keep getting off track. I wanted to talk about so the actual components themselves. I mean, these things are fine. These are just regular cardboard little monies. The cards are nice.
Yeah, they've got the kind of bicycle.
It's bicycle cards.
Finish.
Is what it is. Yep. It's bicycle cards.
But the art is nice.
The art's nice.
Although the thief kind of, I don't know what he makes. He makes me think of like a golem. Not like Gollum from Lord of the Rings, but like the Hebrew golem from folklore that's made out of mud and is... It just... That's not quite even what I'm thinking of, but that's the kind of general idea of what the thief... But I think that's just because of the color palette for the thief. He just reminds me of that kind of character.
So that's all there is to say about that.
Yeah. The artwork is otherwise nice.
Yeah, the artwork's fine. So in terms of the strategy and the tactics, we already started to sit in. I don't think there's much strategy here. Maybe
it's mostly tactical.
I mean, once I got a couple of those red districts up, then the warlord was honestly just good for money, for income.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's a little bit of long-term planning there, but I think it's really mainly a tactical thing. I think for 2 players it does work. I think it works for 2 players if
we figure out something about the king.
The king, but I wasn't even getting at that. Yes, that's something we have to look into. But I think that it works for 2 players if you are into the sort of going at each other sort of a thing.
Yeah, if you don't like going at each other, this is not a good game.
No. So there's definitely meanness here. And I don't mean like really mean, but in the sense of like gaming.
Part of the game is going after the other player.
Yes. And
that's what 1, 2, 3, 4 of the cards directly do.
But it's in a really, I thought it was a fun way.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was great to just do that and to psych the other person out.
Yes.
Right? So it's like you're not only playing this game of you're attacking them, but you're making them think about if you're going to attack them. So
you're trying to make them wonder about what cards you're going to take in order to, and because it's like they're only taking 2 cards, but they've had a total of 4 that you don't know which 2 are in their hands and which 2 are getting tossed out.
So it kind of, in a very not really sort of a way, but a little bit, reminds me of Sheriff of Nottingham.
A little bit.
But I like this a million times better.
That's because you don't like Sheriff of Nottingham, because Sheriff of Nottingham is too short to make lying effective.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying is that that there's that level of trying to mind game people and be deceptive.
But I think this does it better.
And read other people what you think they're gonna do.
And this is better at all of those elements, I think, than Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yes. This is really...
This actually works for 2 players, for one thing.
Yeah.
Sheriff of Nottingham did not work very well for 2 players.
This, right, I mean, we tried a variant of Sheriff of Nottingham because it's not supposed to work for 2 players, but the variant I didn't think worked all that well.
No.
Although I kind of liked it better than playing with more people, but that's a different video.
Different video.
No, this was fun. This is the kind of thing that I think we could do this, and it wasn't that long.
It was longer than, I think it was longer than your average game of Port Royal.
Well,
but the problem is that the average game of Port Royal, you can have a game of Port Royal that's over in 10 minutes, and you can have a game of Port Royal that's over in like 45
Box says 30 to 60 minutes. I think our game was maybe 20 minutes.
Maybe, yeah.
And I thought it was a great amount of time. This is the kind of game you could play a few times. Yeah. And I think so. Replayability. I think it's high.
Yeah. Especially, we didn't actually get through that much of the deck in terms of districts. I think we...
Maybe like half.
No, I don't even think we got through half. I don't think we got through maybe more than this many cards. So, like, maybe a quarter of the deck for a single game. And I don't really see how it could honestly be much more, because there's not really any way to discard cards. It's just drawing. So especially for a 2-player game, I don't foresee us being able to ever get through that much of the deck.
But to me, the only thing that's special about the deck is like the unique districts that have the powers. Yeah. I think those are just an extra little bonus to make it slightly more interesting. This game is really about the people, the roles. And I think the replayability lies in the fact that you can...
how you're playing the other person.
Yes. Especially for 2 people that, like, we're married and we're together all the time. This is a game that we could play for years, and each game it would be like in a sense there's this meta game. There's this one big game that's just constantly going.
For example, the next time we play, I'm going to get you back.
Right. So, but what does that mean?
There's a next game.
But what does it mean you're going to get me back?
You kept killing me.
So you want to kill me?
Yes.
But now I know that, and I would know that even without this conversation. So I'm going to go into the next game thinking about that, and then. But
Unless
does she
you
know
forget.
that? So.
Unless you forget.
Unless forget, but I won't. So am I going to try to? Am I going to get rid of the assassin every time?
Or are you gonna try to get rid of the warlord?
But is she not gonna do that? Because she knows that I know that she knows that I know that she knows that she knows that I know that she knows. It's one of those things.
Yes.
And it's fantastic. Now, I would say this. Here's the other thing. We're playing for 2, and I thought it was fun. This game, and I can see...
Oh, this would be fun with a bunch of people.
With a bunch of people? You know what this is?
Gosh,
You know what
this is Mafia with cards.
This is one of... Well, it's Mafia with cards. No. It's Mafia is one of my favorite games. But this is like those, and look, if you enjoy them, that's fine. I don't hate you, but I hate those stupid party games, right?
This would work well as a party.
Those party games, right? You know, like oh gosh, I don't even know what they're. But the party games are because like 10, 15, 20 years ago, everybody was playing Cranium, which I actually don't mind Cranium. I like Apples to Apples. Like it's the Cards Against Humanity thing, but just like the party games, they're always so kind of shallow, and this is like a party game for gamers. This is a party game for people, and it's interesting. This game is so old. I've never played it before, but this game is really old, and yet it works. It's almost like this game came out when kind of the whole Catan and Carcassonne and all those sorts of games were, that scene and that community and thing was was new, or at least relatively new, right? And so now it's this very large industry, and people have these collections of hundreds of games, and it's like, this is a game that
has staying power.
But this is a game that's like almost like presciently designed for that sort of gamer that wasn't the most common thing back then. But so this game, get a bunch of gamers together, it would be great.
Yeah.
But would it also be fun with just like your family?
Yes. It would still be fun with people who aren't necessarily into gaming all that much and don't really like strategy. This is the kind of game I can actually see, like my mom, who absolutely hates strategy games because she doesn't like having to think that far ahead. I could see Mom really liking this game. And
you said it's like Mafia or Werewolf is kind of what in gamers is more Werewolf for whatever reason. But the thing about that one is I like that game a lot, but it has its disadvantages. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
So it got to the point with my group when we used to, play these games, I used to die pretty early because it was usually...
That was me too. I usually got killed pretty quick.
Whether it was me or anybody else, the big downside to Mafia is that you always have one person that you sit down to play the game and they don't get to play the game.
Yeah.
Right away, they're dead.
You're out, and there is no coming back. With this, like the assassin, yes, you kill one of the characters, but they do in fact get a chance to be in the next game, in the next round.
Right.
You don't. It's not like you're kicking somebody out for the next 2 hours.
So this is almost like, it doesn't have that same social deduction element, but there's a little bit of it.
A little bit.
So this is almost like a version of Mafia you can play with like 2 people, even though it's not really.
It's not
Mafia.
That's the closest thing I can think of to compare it to, but it's not really Mafia.
So this is one that I think works if you are if you're a couple, especially
who enjoys being competitive.
You have to enjoy being competitive, but if you are, I think there's a way in which this as a 2-player game works for a couple way better than it might work for just your average random 2 people.
Yeah. Because you do want a certain element of knowing the other person. Like if we were a pair of strangers, this would not have been nearly as fun.
Yeah, but that's what yes. You so strategically or to try to win, you want to know the other person.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's fun.
Yeah.
To kill your wife. No, it's
probably should not have said that on the internet.
on the internet. Oh no, it's fun.
Please don't send the FBI to my house.
Yeah, that's true. We'd have to probably feed them, but it's fun to do all this stuff to get the other person. But you have to enjoy getting them, and you have to be able to take the being.
You have to be okay with being gotten.
Yes.
You have to be okay with getting ice.
But the thing is, if it's your wife or your girlfriend, somebody that you're very close with, in a way that is just different from just like
good friends.
Good friend. There's a real, it's great fun in getting them, right? It's fantastic.
Because it's innocent fun.
Right.
It's you're getting them, but you're not like actually, it's not like there's malicious ways to get someone.
Right.
And then there is killing your wife's entire city anytime she tries to do anything.
I can think of games, right, where there is this certain take that element, and it's like,
it feels mean.
Well, I'm not even saying it feels mean, but you could make it mean. So you could have a game, like let's say you had a game of, Everdell. And let's say that every time I went ahead and just took the spot I knew you wanted. Not because it helped me. Not because it's what I necessarily wanted. I just, not even because I was trying to, I just wanted to bug her.
That would be far more annoying than you giggling and gloating over this thing.
But the thing about this is that everything that you're doing, all the meanness, is clearly the right move. Yeah. It's like you're doing it because that's the way to play in that moment. Yeah. And so it's not really mean in the sense that you're not just trying to like aggravate the person.
You are actively, you're trying to win. It's not just annoying for the sake of annoying.
And they're getting annoyed.
Yes.
Right? But in a natural way, and so it's fun. It's not just
let me get you for the sake of getting you.
Right. And so it works really well. So I would say this is not, in a certain way, it's not the deepest game, right?
No.
In other way, it is sort of because
it is deep because of the psychological element, but the actual gameplay is not necessarily super deep.
But, and so again, if you're wanting to sit down, and if I'm wanting to sit down and play something more complex, this isn't going to be it.
No.
But this is something that you can pull out, and you can really just kind of have fun with the other person. Or again, if you have a group, this would also be fantastic with a group as well. I would really recommend this. This is a game that is good if you are two people. Is good if you are
competitive
with you have to be okay with a little bit of like right. But if you are,
this is great.
Not super heavy. This could be, with the right group, a gateway game.
Yeah.
Like the group of people that likes to sit around and play one of those stupid party games.
Yeah, this could potentially be a gateway game.
You could totally get them
in. This is basically taking a party game and adding a slightly deeper element for the score. Basically adding slightly more complex scoring.
Yeah, I mean,
than they usually have.
This is the whole. This is the entire rules, basically.
Yeah.
Get the game for you and your, husband, you and your girlfriend, whatever.
Get some extra ice to dunk in their shirt when they win.
But keep it around for when you have those people over and you're looking for something to do. This would be good for that too.
Yeah.
All right. Let us know what you think. And if there's anything else, another game that you think we would enjoy, you'd like to see us talk about, let us know about that.
Just don't send us cooperative games because he's way too competitive for that.
This is not a cooperative game.
This is the kind of game he prefers, not a cooperative
This
game.
is
He wants to get me.
this game is the game where, you know, one person picks the cooperative game and another one's like, assassin, cooperative game's dead. So, all right,
Bye.
bye.